Hi, welcome to Great Goodness. I'm so glad to be here today. I'm here with my partner, Karen Stewart,
Hello.
and our guest, Lois Morin. And we're so excited that you're here watching today. This is going to be, I know, I'm already filled up, and I know this is going to be an incredible episode, as they all are. Um, So remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And that helps you to see more of the guests that we'll be having if you're subscribed, and it helps more people to see the people that we have on. And it's so much great goodness that we really want to share it. We really want to multiply. And if you or someone you know are putting goodness into the world, then reach out to us. That information's in the about section because we want to talk to you and we want to share. We want to share your goodness. So I think that's everything that I'm supposed to say at the beginning.
I think
And
so.
and now we'll see what card Karen pulls.
Okay, so you guys, I have just been putting good thoughts into this deck of cards this morning, and we're not doing a fortune telling thing here, and we're not asking any questions. We're just gonna be open. I'm gonna pull a card. We'll all look at it and just we'll talk a little briefly about whatever comes to us. So it's just some inspiration, some energy to take into your day. Oh, here we go. And let me tell y'all, this is I love this deck so much. See, I got to do a shameless plug. This is the tarot, my newest tarot deck. It's a classic 1909 tarot deck,
Hmm.
and it is published. I love this publisher. I'm not compensated to say this. It's published by View Monde, and this is a company that takes classic, old, original tarot cards and they reprint. They make their deck from the original cards, so it's the same color palette. Anyway,
Hmm.
yeah. So this is the back of this deck that I just showed you, and this is from the original 1909 deck that Pamela Coleman Smith designed, which is kind of the classic.
Hmm.
It's the tarot. If you've seen tarot cards in the movies, it's probably from this deck. And this is the card that I
No
pulled today.
way.
It is the Five of
Oh,
Cups,
wow.
right?
It's like astrology, Lois. You can't make it up, can you?
No, you cannot. You cannot. And that's okay because I can relate to that card. So it's not.
Yeah.
I can relate to it too. So,
Hmm.
I'm fascinated by tarot. I know it. I'm not even close to knowing all the standard meanings of the cards. So I really just look at them intuitively. But this card to me is about pondering. That's what I see. I see pondering, and I see some spilled cups and some that are still upright, and water moving. And is, mm, water's a good energy.
Lois, what do you see? Do you?
For me, what this says is you're very caught up in what you've lost. That's the spilled cups. You're looking
Mm,
at what, maybe in the past, the things that have changed, things that you're a little grievous over. And you're seeing a lot of that in the world right now.
mhm,
But while you're doing that and you're so focused on what you've lost, you're not focusing on what you still have.
mhm.
And I think that's the message of this card is that you look at, yes, we all look at what we've lost in life, but don't forget to turn around and look at what you still have and all the blessings that you still have in your life.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there are two big cups right there that have not spilled over. And the water's moving.
Yes, there
Yeah.
you go.
And I do feel like, water is emotion too. And so
Mhm.
this person has a lot of emotion that they're experiencing right now, because we have the flows of the levels of emotion. And yeah. So, okay, I think this is the perfect card. The perfect card for this because I can't even stand it. Okay. Lois has so many. Okay, I know I'm gonna let you do the bio, Karen, but Lois has so many gifts. Like they are gifts. I believe. Like yes, Lois has committed to growing her gifts, but but she has so many gifts, and she's a, a, she and I actually met through studying astrology. I'm doing my part first,
You're
and then
doing your part first. Let me do the
I
background
can't
first.
stand it. Okay, okay, go ahead.
Just prove it. I'm gonna do some reading, y'all. Look, I'm gonna do a lot of reading. I'm so impressed. Okay. So here we go. This is our formal intro for y'all. Lois Morin is an evidential medium, an intuitive reader, seeing spirits since age 4. Her study of astrology started 35 years ago, and she's chosen to continue her journey with Debra Clement for certification in a field that fascinates, inspires, and that she's loved for many years. Lois has a degree in science and nursing, which has allowed her to work as an RN in medical, surgical, neonatal, intensive care, and a kidney transplant unit at the prestigious Mayo Clinic. In 2017, Lois began medium studies, becoming certified as a medium in 2018 by Lisa Williams, and she continued her studies with Suzanne Gieseman. Oh, I hope I pronounced her name
You
correctly.
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Suzanne Gieseman and a 30-month mentorship with the legendary British medium Mavis Pittilla. Hope I got that name right too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. In 2021, she completed her advanced tarot training with British Master Tarot Specialist Kate May. In June 2023, Lois was ordained as a spiritualist minister under the tutelage of Reverend Janet Nohavec and Pastor Joe Shiel of the Journey Within Spiritualist Church. It is with great joy that Lois can connect with loved ones through evidential mediumship, proving that life, like love, never dies.
Hmm.
Oh my, you impressed me.
Lois,
Yeah. So, okay, so now you know why I'm so excited that Lois is here. I have the great fortune of meeting Lois through astrology. I'm in that same mentorship program with her. And I knew the moment I entered the room with her, I was like, she's one of my people. I know her and I need to know her better. And she's so generous and kind. And she is the one who kind of encouraged me and told me, "Hey, you have a gift to work on
Mm.
and grow." And I do, and I need to work on it and grow, and grow
work in progress, right?
Yeah.
it. Um, but yeah, I love Lois. And so seeing that card come up was really interesting to me because I do feel like mediumship helps people
Mhm.
make that pivot. We live with grief. We don't Grief is just it's a part of our fabric, and but we can learn to live with it and still feel joy and and I think being able to communicate with loved ones or hear from loved ones is one way that helps people do that. I don't know, like why why did you want to grow this gift, Lois? Like what?
Well, um, it's been there my entire life.
Mhm.
Growing up, my mom was always like, shh, don't tell people because I saw spirit objectively. I saw them standing physically before me like I see you. And she would say, don't tell people what you see. They'll think you're crazy and they'll put you away.
Right.
But it's a lineage gift from my family on both sides. And so she understood what I was experiencing. So I really didn't do anything with it officially. And you're gonna laugh. Maybe you won't because you have animals and you know how much
Mhm.
you love them. We had Chihuahuas. Well, we still have three, but I had 10,
Oh,
and they were all just our pets. We didn't breed them. But there was one little girl in particular. She was my heart and soul.
Mhm.
And we lost her very suddenly. And I was absolutely, oh my God, I was devastated, just heartsick. And I had a vision one day of my guides, and they were holding her in their arms. And I heard, it's time. And I thought, uh-oh, what am I supposed to do with this?
Mhm.
So, one thing, spirit kind of leads you where they want you to go. All you have to do is listen, which sometimes I'm not the best listener,
Mhm.
but they kept pushing me, and they first pushed me towards Suzanne Gieseman. So I did just a little course with her. And then it was Lisa Williams, and I did just a little beginning course with her. And I thought, all right, this is what you're supposed to do with this.
Mhm.
Mm.
Am I good enough to do this? Well, your own self-doubt, it's like it can be your biggest obstacle. So I thought, all right, I know what I'm seeing, I know what I'm hearing, but you question, is it real? Are you just losing losing your mind?
Yeah.
And I think every medium goes through that point where it's like, is this really real? And after I lost her, I would go out in the yard. Now, I wasn't a gardener at all, but I heard go out
Mhm.
and garden. And I'm like, okay. So I went out. Now, don't laugh.
Mm.
I started weeding the backyard. 3 months later, there was nothing in the backyard but dirt. There,
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
every
that's
day
intense.
I was out there doing. And my husband's like, okay, no, don't take all this to the curb. I'll take it for you. Well, I thought, oh, I'll be a nice wife and I'll take it out to the curb anyway. And so one day I wrapped it around my wrist, took it to the curb, went to toss it. It took me with it. I fell, broke my left elbow, ended up having to have surgery. And after I had surgery, and it's all in a brace, and we're driving through our town. Now, mind you, there had never been a metaphysical store in the town I live in at all, ever. And um, there was my husband's like, look, there's a new age store. I don't remember walking through the door. I don't remember walking in and signing up for a class, but I did. And I walked in, and the teacher was, um, her name is, she's a spiritualist minister as well. Uh, God, you're going to ask me her last name now, and it just went, boop. But her first name is Maida. She's from Casadega, and she's like, "Come on in, sit down," and she's very good at what she does. And she looked at me and she says, "You're not a beginner." And I'm like, "Oh, yes, I am." She said, "Oh, no, you're not." Well, that started the journey.
Mm.
Ah,
And she knew that I was working on certification with Lisa Williams, and she's like, "That's good. You need to do that." So I finished that up. I went down to Orlando and I was tested by a Forever Family medium, which that they go through intense testing. It's mind-boggling what they go through. And her name is Heidi Jaffe. And I was certified as a medium. And so I thought, okay, that's it. I've proven to my own self I can do this. I
Mhm.
don't need to do anything else. Yeah, it wasn't enough. So I went back to classes with Maida, and she's like, you need to be with Mavis Pittilla. Now, I had never heard of Mavis. I didn't know who
Okay.
she was. So we're driving down the same road, my husband and I get this email, and it was from Suzanne Gieseman. It was just a typical email that they would send out. And it was talking about a week-long workshop in the villages with Mavis Pittilla. And I'm like, really?
Wow.
Can't make this stuff up. So I looked at my husband. I said, "You just look at this." And he said, "You're going." And I said, "No, I don't want to." He said, "You're going." So I went, and that began my journey with Mavis, who was absolutely incredible. She's brilliant at what she did. She was friend, she was family, she was teacher, she was mentor to many of us. And it was just a blessing to have her in my life. And so that started the journey for opening up. And
Mhm.
it's taken me a few years to actually get to the point where it's like, because you got to believe in not what you do so much. You have to believe in that, but you have to trust that. Trust came hard for me to be able to
oh,
surrender and trust. But you have to believe in yourself as well. So that was a whole nother journey of learning to um, look at who I was, not doubt what I was doing. Now, mind you, as a nurse, I could walk in, I had people's lives in my hand. Never one time did I doubt it. Not one
Mhm.
time. I knew exactly what I was doing, never question it. But here I am working with people on the other side, just doubting right and left.
Mm.
And she's like, you have to believe. And then Janet, when I, when I went into ministry, that's a whole nother story. It was not something planned. It wasn't something that I said, oh, I want to be a minister. Because I've always been spiritual, but not necessarily religious in my life. And I kept hearing spirit, you need to do this. And I kept, no, I don't.
Mhm.
Yes, you do. No, I don't.
Mhm.
Took them a year and a half. And it got to the point where I could actually feel them pushing on my right shoulder. And
Mm.
oh, so I finally said, okay, because we all have a spirit team, all of us.
Mhm.
And I said, if I apply to this, you're going to leave me alone about it. Okay, deal. And my thing was, you're going to apply. She's going to say no. And that will be the end of it. And she put everybody through an extensive interview before she accepted you. Well, I applied. I immediately got a letter back that said, welcome. You can,
Wow.
like, how did this happen? And you could almost hear them chuckling in the background. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, you guys are
Mhm.
slick. So I went through, it was a 2.5 year program. And we lost Janet and we lost Mavis within just a few months of each other.
Mhm.
Um, and really just a few months before ordination. So they kind of took a breather. And so I ended up being ordained in June of 2023. And I thought, okay, what am I supposed to do with this? I'm still not sure about that one,
Mhm.
but I figure, they brought me to that point. So at some point they'll show me what I'm supposed to do with it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but that's how it all began. And it's just, I think it's one of those things. I feel like, it's like working in medicine. You never, ever stop learning. Every day that
Mhm.
you go in, you're learning something new. You're presented with something different, something unusual, and learning how to deal with things, especially at Mayo Clinic, because they don't take the norm. You get the very unusual things that other people never see. So that was a blessing among itself. But it's kind of the same with mediumship.
Mhm.
You never stop evolving, you never stop growing. And just when you think you got it all down pat, you know exactly what you're doing, they just come right along and pull the rug right out from underneath your feet and say, okay, we're going to change everything up. And now you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to be able to do this. And
Wow.
you have to really kind of go, whoa.
Okay.
My
So,
whole
uh, let me ask you a couple things about that because all right, I do want to go back real quick to like something you said is trusting yourself.
Mhm.
Because when I've had the fortune of working with you, one of the things you said to me, I then took to heart and I'd used it was say everything. Say everything that you're feeling or seeing or hearing or smelling. Say all of it because it's all being given to you because it's important. And then you just kind of talked about some of that. So when you were saying, I don't know if everyone will know that when you're saying they'll let you see this way, but then they'll take that away and they'll only let you see. Can you talk about some of those different?
absolutely. For me, in the middle of a reading, thank God it was a practice session. Um, they took my objective clairvoyance. It just stopped mid. I mean, because that makes it easy. It makes it very easy. They show you, you see everything solid. No matter what they show you, you see spirit, you see their home, you see if they show you a book, you can see the pages in the book.
Oh, wow.
And I will never forget, I was doing a practice reading in class and I'm blah 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 blah. And I went, oh my God, I'm blind. I was so shocked because it was instantaneous. I could not see. I could see with my physical eyes, but not with my spiritual
Hmm.
eyes. I couldn't
Right.
see. I couldn't see anything. And I turned and I looked at it was with Maida and I said, oh my God, Maida, I'm blind. I cannot see. And she's like, it's okay. It's okay. They're changing it up so that you learn to use your clairsentience, which is feeling, and you need to blend all those other clairs together to give you the really well-roundedness as a medium, so that you're not just seeing, but you're hearing and you're feeling, and you're getting the full essence of who that person was and still is, because they don't change whenever they. A lot of people think, oh, when you pass, well, if you were a grumpy person here, now you're a happy person there. No, no, doesn't work like that. You're
Mhm.
still there, but you, again, you're still growing and evolving. So you do learn to kind of temper things a little bit, and it's a constant evolution for our souls, whether we're here or we're there, which fascinates me. But and one thing that I wanted to mention too, you talked about how I said, yes, you give exactly what you get, what you feel, what you
Mhm.
see, but there's a way to do that. You
Mhm.
never, ever, ever, and some people without thinking will say things that can be very hurtful to the
Mm.
client or to their sitter, because they'll show you sometimes very graphic things. But you have to learn to stop yourself before you give that information, and I'm going to say temper how you give it, so that it's given in, like I would never tell anybody, oh, this person showed me their death by suicide. Never. I would
Mhm.
always say are they showing me responsibility, um, for their passing, that
Mhm.
they had something. And I'll put it that way. Your sitter,
Oh, right.
how
Knows, yeah.
they don't
Yeah.
need to go through that hurt and grief again. So that's
So,
just how I do it.
yeah, that's really it. Okay, it's really interesting to me. I don't want to take a huge segue, but it parallels with astrology.
It does.
Like when you see something in someone's chart, you may not want to say, "Oh, you experienced this type of childhood trauma," exactly.
Mhm.
There's other gentler ways to
Absolutely.
share that or validate that and let the client then move the way they want to move from there. You don't have to be harmful, you know.
Exactly, exactly. Because
Yeah,
you don't ever want to leave somebody feeling as though they have no hope,
right.
because the world is filled with hope. And to me, it's
Hmm.
filled with magic. You just have to learn to look for all those little pieces that become our everyday mundane environment in our minds. But I mean, if you step back and you really think about it, we're miracles in I mean, dear Lord, look at our
Yeah.
body. Come on, how they're designed, what goes on. It's like that still blows my mind. And I've been a nurse, my God, since the 70s. So it's still, it's like the most fascinating machine. But when you walk outside, I mean, you look at the sun, or you look at the rain or the wind, or you see this little tiny ant and you watch what it's doing, and it's like, there's so much magic in this life that we don't recognize. So you don't want that person to feel like, well, my loved one is gone, so I have nothing to live for. You've got a lot to live for, a
Right.
lot. You just have to kind of step back and say, okay, they're still with me, because they are. Absolutely, they are. They're just energy changes form. It doesn't ever go away. So
Right.
our form is different, but they're still here. They're still in your home, walking around behind you sometimes, watching what you do. And I love it when they give me that information when you do a reading, and they'll bring through something that you had for breakfast that morning, or
Hmm.
Oh, wow.
a book that you were reading, or to let you know that they saw what you were doing, that they're really there. And people will say, well, does that mean that, they're in the shower with me, or no?
Yeah. Now, I want to take you back one more time. Now, there's clairvoyance,
Mhm,
there's and then there's clairsentience,
mhm.
clairaudience.
Yes.
uh, There's another one.
Um, there's claircognitive, where you just know it's like a
Yep.
drum.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of more. I cannot pronounce them.
Okay.
One is smell and taste, because sometimes they'll make
Hmm.
you smell a specific scent. And many times it's cigarettes, cigar, a perfume,
Hmm.
something specific. And sometimes they'll actually give you taste of their favorite foods, and you're like, why am I tasting this? And they'll
Hmm.
go, oh, because that was something they really love to eat. And you're just I sit back
Oh,
amazed
wow.
every
Hmm.
day, like, holy cow,
Yeah.
this is just the best thing ever.
And so clairvoyance is seeing, like the way
Yeah.
that you saw, you can see.
But there's different types. It's not all
Okay.
objective. Uh,
Okay.
many times it's subjective. They'll see in the screen in their mind, and it will play like a movie for people. I've never experienced that because I don't have that capability. It's always in front of me. And when I read, I always tell people, you're going to see me turn my head to the right.
Hmm.
That's just because that's where spirit steps in for me, whatever form, whether
Hmm.
it's physical or it's, just their feelings, they come in on the right. I don't know why. I've tried to get them to change it up, but they don't.
And then clairsentience.
Yes, clairsentience is feeling. You want to
Hmm.
feel their emotions. You want to feel their personality and their characteristics. And really, everybody thinks that clairvoyance is your most powerful. No, no. It's that clairsentience because that's where you get that real essence of who they are and
Mm.
their likes, their dislikes, because, there's so many things wrapped up in feelings that we don't really think about, but they're amazing at coming close to you and just pouring it out, and you walk away knowing that person, and many times you walk away. I did a reading just yesterday and I walked away, I felt like the spirit communicator was my new best friend. It's like, oh my
Hmm.
God, this was the most phenomenal man. And my sitter was like, he truly was. She's like, everything you're telling me is exactly the way that he was here. And when you hit that portion of it, I think that makes mediumship very, very special for people.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to remember that moment that you just said that because that's something I want to go back to. Now you can feel like fatigue, you can feel cold, you can feel like all of those things will come in, right? And you may even feel like where they had an illness or where they had an injury or where you can
Yes.
feel
Now I
that.
don't because I've asked not to feel that. And your guides will
Okay.
work on that. If there's something specific that you'd rather not feel, and being a nurse, it's like you can kind of tell me and I'll understand. I don't need to feel the pain. A
Mm.
lot of mediums do, but once they do and they acknowledge it, they don't feel the pain anymore. It doesn't stay with the medium. It
Mm-hmm.
take it away.
Right. Now, clairaudience is hearing. They
Hearing. And
will. Mm-hmm.
there again, it's like clairvoyance. You can hear objectively, where you actually hear their voice, or you can hear subjectively, where it's
Mm.
like it's kind of in your own voice, but you hear, and I hear it on the outside. And it's odd because I lost the hearing in my left ear, but that's where I hear spirit. Very weird.
Oh, wow.
But I'll hear them like right here, right behind my ear.
Mm-hmm.
But I hear it usually in my voice, not there. So I
Yeah.
don't hear objectively, but some mediums do.
And claircognizance is that download. Like,
Yeah, you just know, and you know without a doubt, and you may not necessarily know how you know, but you are absolutely 1,000% certain. And it's just like people, I used
mm,
to walk around and I would say something and people will say, well, how do you know that? I don't know. I just do.
yeah.
And that's how it is. You don't really know how you know, you just know.
Mm-hmm.
You know that you know. Angie
Exactly.
and I had a conversation about that. I know what I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so I want to take you back because, okay, about why everyone has a different reason for why they would um, commit to growing this gift. So your reason will be for you, I know, but still, it is like you it is a commitment, and okay. This is maybe how I feel about it.
Okay.
It is because it, you're taking a leap of faith, and I feel like you spoke to this. Like you're taking
Mhm.
a leap and going. I'm gonna show up for spirit. I'm gonna trust myself that I can do that. I'm gonna trust spirit to show up. I'm gonna trust myself to be able to share this. Like it's whenever I do practice. I get pretty terrified. Like, and then I think that being terrified is what actually exhausts me. But then when I'm done, I'm like, oh, but I am also filled up. But I wondered, like, you were starting to talk about how rewarding it is when you walk away and you're like, oh my gosh, I just made this amazing new friend. Like this, it's like meeting. So can you just talk about that and I can just quit
Yeah.
talking? Okay.
Now, let me set the record straight. Every medium, I don't care who they are, I don't care how famous they all get nervous before they sit down to read. That's part of the process.
Okay.
But you learn to deal with that. First of all, you learn to expect it. And one of the things, and Mavis, God bless her, she just drilled this into all of us. You are never where spirit is not. Spirit is always there. They're always willing
Mm,
to work with,
Uh,
they're always willing to share their life with you. You just have to trust, you have to surrender, and you have to be open to receive it. Now, some people, you see all these crazy things in the movies and they're all scary. Well, what happens? That doesn't happen. And it doesn't happen because when you work on your mediumship and you work with dealing with the spirit world, you have to raise your vibrational level.
mm,
And you learn to do that automatically. And it comes with time and it comes with practice. When you have a vibrational level up here, if there's a spirit that's down here, they can't come in. They can't come in because they can't hit you on that level. And that's really kind of why they call us mediums, because you have spirit, their energies here, ours as humans are here, and we have to learn to raise it to meet them in the middle. So that's where I believe that's where that name comes from.
mm,
But Mavis and Janet both, it was all you have to learn to let go and trust. And she always told us, you are always, spirit is always there. They're always there. Just quiet your mind. You learn to do that through meditation. Now, for me, that was just a natural thing. It's always been like that. Um, and trust that you're gonna connect. She used to say you can stand in front of a freight train coming at you at 1,000 miles an hour and still do a reading, and I'd go, "Are you sure?" But it's true, even at the times that you don't feel your very best, or maybe your day hasn't gone very well and you have a reading to do. When you sit down, you learn to set that aside. And Lisa Williams used to tell us there is no ego in mediumship. There's no place for it. So she said, give it a name, give your ego a name, and put it in the corner.
uh,
You learn to do that, and you just really have it. That is a huge evolution, and for me, that was a big, big, big thing because trust just did not come easily for me, and so I've had to learn, and I feel like only recently have I become more confident in that trust thing. And and Janet used to tell us, just trust and go. That's it. Just that it's gonna work, and you gotta believe it's gonna work. But I think that's the hardest step for anybody who does this work is that trust and that surrender. Because we all want to be in control of everything. And with this, the medium's not in control at all. Spirit is in control. They actually arrange everything. They arrange the readings, which just still blows my mind. And they maneuver things around so that their loved one will make that appointment with the medium that they want to work with. And many times they'll say, well, how did you hear? I don't know how. I was just led to this, or I was led to your
mm,
website, or I just was, you just seemed like the right one. And that's because spirit is arranging it. They do all of it. We don't have to schedule anything. They do it. And that's because of using our energy. They know who they can use to get a message across, because they have to be able to use the medium's life experience, our energy, to be able to tell their story, their way. And it's
mm.
just, it never ceases to amaze me, and it never stops being an absolutely pure joy. to do. And it's like every day I get up and go, oh, wow, thank you, God, for giving me this gift because it's phenomenal to do this work.
The creepy hand. It's the creepy hand.
So, um, okay, Lois, so we are coming to the end. Is there anything you were hoping that I would have asked you?
No, I think you did a spectacular job. And I got to tell you, you made this very easy for me because I've not done an interview before. This is the first.
Oh, well done.
You're a natural.
The very
Yes, you are.
wasn't sure how it was going to roll. My husband's like, well, what are you going to talk about? I said, I'm going to talk about whatever spirit pushes me to say. So, again, trust. It's all on them and just hope that it comes out okay. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
it
you
was
guys both made
beautiful.
it so easy. So it's been a joy to be here with you both. And Karen, I swear to God, I feel like I have known you for a bazillion years.
I know, right? I don't know. It's a thing.
And it was
Yeah.
when I first met Angie, it's like, oh, I know this woman. And you could see,
Yeah.
if you looked at us on screen, you could see our eyes like looking at each other like, I know you.
I feel you.
Yeah. Um, so now is the time that we would normally do a prompt. But I was so enthralled that I really didn't do a good job of that. No, normally we do
Well,
a prompt and it comes naturally. Um, but I think because the whole time I was like, I'm really supposed to keep working on this. And I was really like listening to you and like and feeling that. And so I didn't do a fantastic job of having a prompt stirring in the background. But what I do feel like we can do, here is your prompt, actually. It is here.
I know it was coming. She
Um,
just has to talk herself around a circle sometimes before we get there.
um, is is the Five of Cups. Because this is a terrific card. Um, I love all the cards. So, but a lot of people when they see the Five of Cups, this is not a card they really wanted to see. Um, and so, but I appreciate this card because I think it is really, really easy to forget the fullness that we have.
Yeah.
Like, and so here's the creative prompt. You can meditate on this. You can sing this out. You can write this. You can do a collage. This would be a really great one to do a collage for. You could do, because here's what I'm about to tell you. Okay. Your cups are spilled. What cups are spilled for you? What cups are your eyes on? Is your heart on? You can write about it. You could put them all on one side of a piece of paper or a canvas or anything. So those are your spilled cups. And be with that and let yourself feel that. Let yourself name that. Um, that's important. That's important. Let yourself honor that. Uh, there's we deserve a full range of emotions. So that's okay. But then flip the canvas over or flip the page over, and on that place, what's in those two cups?
Mm.
Where is your joy? Where is your gift? Where, as I know you've got them, you got way more than two.
There's
Like,
something in those cups.
yeah. I mean, Lois, you and I know because we look at people's charts even. Like, so we see people's energy. Karen, you see people's energy. Like, I'm outing you, Karen. I'm gonna out you.
Oh, she
And
outed me. Yeah, it's a thing.
you,
It's
you,
I'm kind
you,
of out anyway.
you see people's energy. You see their gifts. So you have gifts. What are they? And maybe you don't want to talk about those. Maybe you want to talk about, oh my God, my hummingbird's back. I'm so excited. Like that's a real thing. That wasn't part of your prompt. I just wanted to
Oh,
share that.
okay. I
And
felt the excitement.
and
Congratulations.
yes, and so this can be what's in your cup because there's nothing like seeing that hummingbird come back. Oh my gosh, it's such a joy. And then to remember my nanny when she would lay in her bed and oh my gosh, I am rambling, but I am just having this moment. I have been asking ever since we had Tamara J. Madison. I have been wanting my nanny to come through, and I was doing this expressions of grief workshop. I wasn't hearing her, and I was like getting kind of frustrated with her. And I was like, come on. And like, I want to write poems about you. I want to honor you. I know I'm supposed to do this. And because she was such a resilient woman, she was such a working woman. Like, anyway, that's not the point. Point is, I was doing this.
Let me say this because you popped in, okay? When you said you wanted to write poems and you want to honor her, Angie, just turn within. She's right there in your
I
heart.
know.
Yeah.
That's the only connection. You don't need to see her or feel her out here. Just go inside. She's right there and right from your heart.
Well, yes.
Mm.
Yes,
Yes.
and this
Yes.
happened yesterday. I was teaching this expressions of grief class, and I always do something that I told someone to do, while they're doing it, because otherwise I'll just talk. And so I was doing it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is my nanny. She's talking to me right now." And I just realized when I said that about that hummingbird, the reason that thrills me it's because that was her thing. Like even when she was in bed there at the
Oh,
very end, she had this hummingbird that they took to the facility, this hummingbird feeder, and put it on her outside window.
There, you needed to see that physical sign. That's her
yeah.
sign to you that says, see, I'm still right here.
Yeah.
I haven't gone.
Yeah.
Okay, here's your
Okay.
second prompt.
I have one too. I have a prompt
Do you want to
too.
do it? You do it. You do it.
Well, no, I want you to do your second one because you're on a flow, but I'm going to throw one in
I
too.
was gonna say, like, if you are missing a loved one, which who isn't, um, watch for that sign. Would it and lean into that sign because they are there. They are there. And so that was my second one. Karen, please.
Oh, my prompt was just this. Um, because I'm so moved by Lois talking about, connecting with spirit and listening to what spirit has to say. So my prompt was, what do you have to say to spirit? What do
Mm.
you have to say to someone that you're not seeing,
Hmm.
maybe?
Yes.
And say it. You can speak it, you can sing it, you can make art that ties into that, what
Yes.
write a poem, whatever. Just what is
Yes.
it that you
All
haven't said that
sounds
you
are
want to
out
say?
rambling to the air because they're going to hear you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just say it. Just
Say it. Yeah.
yeah.
That's my prompt
Angry,
for
you
today.
let your anger out. You tell them that you tell them why, just as if they were still here. In fact, sometimes it's easier to do it now because they're not physically standing there in front of you. So it's easier for you to express the disappointment or the anger or what, and you need to do that in order to heal from it. That's
Yes.
very, very important.
Ah, this was the best time together.
Oh,
Y'all.
my
Oh.
God,
Well,
this was awesome.
It's it is all
Lois.
great goodness.
It is.
And there's
Um,
a lot of goodness in the world. We just need
yes.
to learn to step back from all the chaos that we hear about and everything that we see going on and really look for the goodness. Right now, we have to look a little harder, but
Yeah.
it's there. It hasn't gone anywhere. And every person that you see, even if they make you angry, there's that divine connection that connects us all. So we're really all one. We may
Hmm.
Yeah.
not understand each other, but we're still all one. And just, think about that as you go about your day.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh,
Um,
pleasure.
thank you. Thank you so much, Lois, for being with
Oh,
us.
thank you, Lois.
Um, well, do I need to
It's
ask you to like, comment, and subscribe? Because my goodness, like you must have been so moved. Just be moved. Just be moved. Just be moved. And
it's
just,
all great goodness.
yeah, okay. I love y'all. All right.
Thank you both so much.